Mom and Dad, I'm doing fine. You guys are on my mind. You asked me what I wanted to be, and now I think the answer is plain to see. I wanna be famous. I wanna live close to the sun. Oh, pack your bags, cause I've already won. Everything to prove, nothing in my way. I'll get there one day. Cause I wanna be famous. Na 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 na. I wanna be famous. I wanna be famous.
Welcome to the Animation Block. I'm your host, Ryder Mitchell, for this week. And here we are in episode 6. Can't believe we're already here. Let's get right into it today. So we've got a massive lineup of pretty interesting stuff, some different topics that we haven't gotten to yet, which is always an excitement. So let's go ahead and I'll give you guys the rundown. So we're going to start off with Descendants Wicked World. Yes, if you're probably aware of it by now, there was a Descendants Disney Channel movie directed by the High School Musical director, and you're probably thinking, oh shit, another one of those crappy Disney movies. That was what I was thinking when I first saw it. I'm going to get into more of my response and reaction to that movie, along with my response and reaction to the animated shorts that they're putting out on Disney Channel right now in a little bit. Then we're going to move along onto Gravity Falls. So, yeah, Gravity Falls, the season is coming up to an end, I believe. Is it tomorrow night, the final episode of the season? It's either tomorrow night or the week after. And that's going to be a pretty big deal now that we know a lot about, Stan and Stanley and Stanford and all of that. So if you're following Gravity Falls, this is the place for you. We'll be getting to that briefly, probably more towards the end of this installment of the Animation Block. And we are going to be closing it off this week with the all-new, just announced, breaking news announced, Transformers animated origin movie that will pretty much it's going to be in that same universe with Transformers, Rise of the Dark of the Moon, Age of Extinction, and I know I'm forgetting the other one, but, of course, Transformers 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then they're making another live-action Transformers 5, but this animated film will be an origin prequel. So this is going to be pretty cool. We'll be getting to more about some predictions later, but yeah, a lot of great stuff. Let's jump right into it with Descendants. So, starting off. Back in, when was this announced? Well, of course, because mainly from me on Toys with Attitude, I'm always trying to stay aware and alert to big news, big breaks, even kid stuff. As many of you know, I am currently going to be watching Game Shakers and that stuff on Nick. I did a video about it last week, blah, blah, blah. You probably saw it, maybe, I don't know. So, really, I'm just alert. I try to be alert on everything. I don't just rule out, alright, kid stuff's crap. Half the time it is. But, it's still things to be aware about. So that's why I'm there. So, I was I knew about Descendants for months before it was, released. But then, of course, I saw the trailer for Descendants, and it looked pretty good. At the same time, it seemed like it could be another one of those Disney Channel movies, I don't know, that I just don't really care about that much. But this was pretty cool, mainly because, it's showing, alright, what if every single, of these four big Disney villains that we love, from the Disney movies, had children. Where would the children be? What would the children be doing? How old would they be? What would their names be? And that idea kind of sparked in my mind, whoa, that could be pretty cool. So maybe I'll check this out. At the same time, I had that thought, but I also had this thought of, alright, what if this is shit? And it turns out this movie was actually not shit. I actually enjoyed this more than, I'm not the biggest fan of High School Musical. Of course, I saw it because I was much younger when they came out. Much, much younger. And, you gotta check out that stuff when you're younger, because everything sparks your interest. Ooh, colors, I gotta check that out. So that's what you're doing when you're a kid. I remember High School Musical, and I did not. I mean, looking back on it now, a movie like that is not my cup of tea. It's not something where I'd be like, ooh, singing love story, that's what I love. I'm not really like that. I'm more of an action guy. I don't mind romance and that stuff, but like when it's in an action or comedy or something big, something awesome. So there's that. Descendants was everything I wanted it to be. It definitely, there was the singing song, there were some singing things, but I don't know, I think the addition of like Kristen Chenoweth and some of the other big actors and actresses, they had some of those Disney Channel actors like Dove Cameron and so I don't know, but it was fine. I really, I was expecting to see these villains, these characters that these Disney Channel actors were playing. I was expecting to actually be like, all right, so that person's dead. I wanted to get into the character, so I didn't want to feel like, okay, so when I'm watching this, I don't want to feel like Dove Cameron's just this character. I want to be able to feel like, okay, Dove Cameron's obviously playing this character, but I don't want to feel like I'm watching Dove Cameron. I want to feel like I'm watching Mel. And that's sort of how I did feel. So I think they did a really great job with that. So shortly, that premiered on July 31st, and like 2 days later, they just announced that they're doing, because Descendants was like one of Disney's most successful TV movies, and one of the, I don't know if it was the most successful TV movie of the summer, or if it was like number 2 or 3, but it was really successful. So Disney comes along, and they go ahead and they introduce that they are making animated shorts that will be premiering in September called Disney's Descendants Wicked World. And the big line and the big phrase was like, their story's not over yet. And I don't know, I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was a cool concept of seeing animated things of this. Now, after seeing the first episode, I was a little disappointed. Why? Because I was expecting maybe some sort of story. I was expecting some sort of something longer than 2 minutes. This was exactly 2 minutes. Even Vixen episodes are more than 2 minutes. They are 5 minutes. The Disney Mickey Mouse shorts, which are actually really fun. You should check them out. They have like a nice throwback to like the original Mickey Mouse stuff, from like the 60s or whatever. But this stuff's also, I think the newer Mickey Mouse cartoons are also a lot of fun. But like those are at least 3 to 4 minutes with like an actual fun plot. This was about Evie comes into this like circus tent where Mel is trying to practice art and be good, and she's like, "Hey, I made some bad cupcakes. They're changing colors. Help me with your magic." And she's like, "Whoa, wait, I can't just use magic now. I'm trying to be good." And she's like, "Please." And then she's like, "Oh, all right, fine." And she uses the magic, and she turns the cupcakes into bombs, and one of the cupcakes gets thrown at like Aurora's daughter, who's sort of like that like mean girl, I don't know, and it gets all over her, and it ends, she's pissed, and then it ends with Evie and Mal disappearing, and that was it. I was expecting more than that. I was expecting a story, maybe there will be a story, maybe that was like the first part. I'm just sort of hoping that there ends up being something more. I'm not saying this was bad. I definitely enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed seeing these characters on screen and in animated form, very similar as to how I love seeing the Flash and Arrow in animated form on Vixen. It's cool. It's different. It's fresh. But, I just feel like there should be a bit more of a story. Of course, they needed to do a test thing, see if people are going to watch it. Is it going to have a plot? It probably will. Because, but who knows? Also something to keep in mind, the actual actors, Dove Cameron, I forget the girl who plays Evie, but they're actually doing the voices for the animated characters. Once again, very similar to the Vixen, with Stephen Amell and Grant Gustin doing the voices for Arrow and the Flash. So, I don't know, I think it's a cool concept, and I'm excited to see what's to come next. I'm hoping that there's a new one like every Friday, so I don't have to wait like a month to see a new one. I just feel like that would be a waste of everyone's time. We're going to really have to see what goes on and what happens, but for the most part, I enjoy this. I'm excited for what's next. I'm just hoping there's a bit more of an actual story. I am looking forward to these, though. Don't get me wrong. I think there needs to be more of a story. And I also don't want to see too much in the high school. You know, I know they are currently in that the good high school. I forget what it's called. You know, I know that they're in high school right now, but I want to see some adventures with them sort of out of school. Like, what are they going to get into? What kind of mischief are they going to get into? Or what good are they going to stop? Or is there a villain in this story? Who knows? So, I'm really looking forward to more. Let me know what you guys thought. Moving on to Gravity Falls. So, yeah, there's major spoilers for the last couple episodes and then what's going to happen next. But let me just I really want to talk about one episode in particular. And that was the whole explanation of who the author of the book is and who and Stan and Stan's brother. And, you know, Stan's brother is actually named Stan. One of them Stanford and one of them Stan Lee. And they're brothers. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So, let's sort of talk about this. So, of course, the biggest mystery throughout all of Gravity Falls, or at least with the characters that we are aware of, like Dipper and Mabel, you know, the biggest thing with them, or at least with Dipper, really is who wrote these books? Who wrote all these mystery books? Who is creating this mystery for me? Who is this person? Well, Dipper has so many questions for him, and finally, we are shown, who the author is, and that is, he steps out of this portal to like another world, other dimension, and it is the actual Stanford. So, yeah, this was crazy, because he steps out, and it looks like Stan, and it's like, what? How can there be two Stans, and how did one of the Stans write the books? So, yeah, I don't know, it's a interesting one. It was a really interesting one. And one thing I love Gravity Falls, but one thing I don't love about it is how this show started in 2013. Now, season 1 went from like summer 2013 to like end of May, summer 2014. Then they do season 2 starts in like, I don't know. No, you know what? Gravity Falls may have started in 2012. I don't really remember. But then it like ended like in 2013. Then a new season started in like 2014. And then we're still in season 2, and it's like towards the end of 2015. So like they're really taking the time to either develop these characters or do something with them. But I think they need to move the pace up just a smidge so we can get more content from that. I don't know. But it's just taken a while for us to finally figure out who this author is and what's going to happen and what's this finale and, you know, everything along with that. So we get a whole big flashback episode of how, you know, the original Stanford Stan, he created this portal. His, science partner left because he thought it was dangerous. And it showed, like, the two brothers when they were kids, both Stans. And, you know, they're like twins, and they grew up, and they look similar. And Stan Lee always got into, like, trouble. And he always got into trouble, and, you know, he was a non-truthful man. And that sort of reflects as to how we see Stan, you know, currently. With the eye patch and everything. So, but then there's his brother, who was always, you know, very smart and a thinker, and he really thought things through, and it was a big deal, and he creates this world, this portal, and, you know, things just start going crazy. He doesn't feel like he's safe, he calls Stanley over, the other Stan, his brother. This is in the flashbacks to his house, which was a mystery shack in the past. Just tell him to stay away from him. Things are going wrong. Things are happening. Scary things are coming. You know, there's a big mystery, whatever. So there's all of this. This show really reminds me of Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. I don't know about you guys, but I think this is a really well done equivalent to Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. There is a level of creepiness to this show, along with a whole lot more of, there's comedy, but like I think the comedic episodes are the ones that are like kind of, I think the ones that are really awesome. I mean, I think this could seriously be one of the best animated shows on TV. I'm raving about the Redonkulous Race. I love the Redonkulous Race. But, it doesn't have it has an outstanding plot, the Redonkulous Race. Don't get me wrong. I just feel like, Gravity Falls has had this big build-up, and it's had a really strong plot throughout the whole thing. And, I don't know, I think it just keeps getting even greater and better. So, to make a long story short, basically Stanford and Stanley, they're fighting down in their base. Not like actual fighting, but just like they're having an argument, like a loud argument. And, just in general, Stanford ends up getting pushed into the portal somehow. And Stanley's like, wait. And he's trying to get him back. He's using all of his time to get his brother back, but he just can't. So to get money, he makes his house a creepy, kind of creepy place, and he calls it the Mystery Shack. He becomes Stanford, replaces Stanford to make it like Stanford never went anywhere. Stanford actually went to this other dimension where there's all all that other crap, that scary shit. So this is intense. It's very interesting as to how that happened. But a lot of questions were answered with this. I just think there's, I don't know. I think that there's a lot of complication to this, and a younger child might not be able to figure it out. But I think it was a very interesting route to take. And then at the end of this, now that Stanford's back, Stanford tells Stanley, so the Stans are talking, and he goes, I want my house back at the end of the summer, just until the kids are gone, and I want my identity back. And that was a big deal. So, you have to wonder what's going to happen. How is this going to happen? I think that Stanford and Stan Lee are going to end up being enemies again. So this is pretty crazy. We've obviously seen some more since that episode. We've seen a few other episodes. But I just feel like that was a massive turning point. So, like I said, we're going to have to see truly what's going to happen more in the finale. And I think there's one more episode and then the finale, or the finale's tomorrow night. I'm not exactly sure, but there's a lot of awesome stuff. It's all coming. And, it's not tomorrow night. It should be Monday night. That's what I'm saying. So, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff, like I said, coming, but I'm excited for all of it. So, let me know what you guys are expecting from Gravity Falls in the next, coming up episodes and in the finale. So, we'll have to see how that goes. And we're going to close it all off today talking about some Transformers Origins animated films. So, the Transformer franchise is actually a really big, popular one. Michael Bay's done them all, or most of them, and he's, for the most part, done a solid job, I'd say. I think that some of the other ones haven't been as great of quality. No, I'm not saying that, the Autobots look like shit. I'm saying more like I just think that the story could have been slightly better. Now, a movie like Transformers 4 Age of Extinction, that movie may have been way too long. It was like 3 hours and like 45 minutes. That's a long movie. So, of course, you feel like it's going to end like about halfway through the movie, and then it just doesn't. And then it feels like you're seeing like a whole other movie as well. So, I don't know. It was fine. It wasn't my favorite one of them, but it was beyond successful worldwide, like really successful. So, of course, who cares about if the movie was that great or not? It's more of how much money it brought in. It brought in billions of dollars. So the studio's like, all right, fine. It doesn't matter if the movie itself wasn't the best thing ever. We got a lot of money out of this, and we're going to make more because we can get even more money out of this. So that's what they're doing. They're making a 5th Transformers movie, live action. And I don't think they set a release date yet, but they also announced they are making a Transformers prequel origin movie that's going to be animated. That was a surprise because, you're sharing a universe right now on the big screen. 5 of your movies are live action, another one's animated. So that was kind of weird, kind of crazy, but I don't know. I think it's a kind of a cool concept. So we can kind of talk more about that, but really I think they're going to show more Megatron. I think they're going to show more of Optimus Prime and all the different primes and how they are all going to be somewhat connected in ways, and how they're always going to kind of stay together. I think Bumblebee's, how that's going to happen. Now, I do kind of wonder if they're going to show these because they are technically aliens. They obviously mold to cars and vehicles, but they're technically aliens. So I wonder if they're going to show them like Bumblebee as a baby Transformer, if there are even baby Transformers. I do kind of wonder who the villain is going to be. I think what would be really cool is if it really just led right up into the first Transformers. Like, it led exactly into the first Transformers movie. I think that would be really, fun and really crazy. A different kind of concept, but overall I think it could be a really interesting one. So, we don't exactly know, like I said, as of right now. But I think there is a lot of potential for this movie to be interesting. Now, most likely they're going to have a different lineup of people. Now, Optimus Prime might not even be the main character. He could be a young Prime in training. So we might even see a completely different lineup. I don't think there is a release date for this one either, which is fine as of right now. I don't think we really need a release date for it. But I don't know. I can't say too much about it because you don't exactly know. I do kind of wonder if they're going to go with some stuff from the animated TV series like Transformers Prime or the Transformers Animated or even some of the original classic Transformers stuff. So, there are there's a current Transformers show. So, it's on Cartoon Network. So, there's a lot of things that they can pull from. Now, you got to think about the animation as well. Like, what is that going to look like? Is it going to have, like, a bit more of a three-dimensional look to it? Sort of more like Inside Out does? Or some of the new Pixar films or Disney stuff like that? Or is it going to have more of, like, a Cinderella look to it, where it's more flat and 2D? So I don't know. I think that, they could go either route. I don't think it really matters either way. But, like I said, there's not that much we can actually say about this. I just think it's pretty cool that they're sharing now it's going to be a half animated, half live action universe. So you're going to have to let me know what you guys are thinking about this. Do you want a prequel to the original Transformers movies? And if you do, what are you expecting from it? And if you don't, what would you like to see take its place? So let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to click, share, like, subscribe, and send us some feedback on everything that we've, kind of all the questions we laid out for you guys. Wicked World, Gravity Falls, Transformers, all of that great stuff. Let us know about that. And also let us know if you're enjoying the animation block. We are, of course, going to keep doing these because they are actually really popular. And I'm also going to be doing the Redonkulous Race reviews, trying to do them every week. Knox will be here next week with another great lineup of a bunch of animation news. I'm your host, Ryder Mitchell, and this has been The Animation Block.